Hi, welcome everyone. My name is Vincent. I work for Clubee, and during this meeting, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Clubee and show you its basic features. As you noticed, I will talk in English, but you can turn on the subtitles if you do not understand this language very well. So let's start from the beginning. When Clubee was founded, the founders, former athletes who turned club managers, they noticed that club managers like them and you spend a lot of time managing such organizations. So they came up with the idea of creating the Clubee platform, which makes that management easier in all its areas. And nowadays, Clubee counts more than 20 employees and is used by more or less 4,000 clubs around the world and by more than 40 federations. Well, what is Clubee? So to explain, Clubee is a management platform for federations and clubs, allowing you to manage all your communications, marketing, members and their licenses, competitions, finance and sponsors. The advantage is that together in one place. On the Clubee platform alone, you can manage the entire club, which ultimately allows you to professionalize and develop your organization, but also, and above all, to reduce everyone's workload and improve quality. And no matter how good your work is, the same questions will arise every year, over and over again. For example, how to find more sponsors, how to attract new members and supporters, and many other different and repetitive tasks and jobs. The reason these problems never go away is that club leaders are often limited in terms of time, manpower, and of course, financial resources. And that's what Clubee is working to solve. We want you to spend less time managing your club, reduce your workload, and allow your organization to grow and evolve. What's exactly Clubee and how does it work? Well, first of all, it's a web platform that you can access via your computer, tablet, or phone, and from which you have access to numerous tools that help you manage all aspects of your club. I will come back to this later, but you will also have your own personal assistant, Clubee, who will work for you. As you can see on the slide, the platform focuses on four main areas: organization, management, communication, planning, and sponsorship, each of which contains a large number of tools that will help you manage all aspects of your organization on a daily basis. We will now quickly review all the tools so that you can grasp the full power of the platform and all the possibilities it offers. So let's start right away with one of the most important parts, community management. A club cannot grow unless it fully engages all stakeholders within its community. Everyone must interact with the club as much as possible, whether they are supporters, players, staff members, board members, coaches, parents of children, etc. It's essential to work with everyone in the best possible way and ensure no one is behind or neglected. To do this, we start by bringing these people together, all these people together in a single database. Your fans, members, spectators, season ticket holders, customers, sponsors, etc. Everyone. Instead of having separate databases here and there, or even Excel spreadsheets, or user lists in different tools that you have to import or export all the time to make sure all the lists are aligned, you now have a single large comprehensive database that is connected to all your tools at all times. It's like a master file that contains all the information about everyone and is updated in real time by users and your tools without any effort. In fact, you have a complete overview and total transparency across your entire community. What's also very important here is that this list allows you to be fully GDPR compliant. As you can see on the slide, you can define which person will have access to the platform and, depending on their roles and responsibilities, give them access to all of part of the data. Here, for example, you can see that Luca has a coach role, which means he will not be able to see everything that Yves, Matthias, and Gilles can see, as they have super administrator roles, which is quite normal, indeed. Coaches should not have the same access as community managers or media teams, who should themselves not have the same access as the president or board members, etc. Now let's talk about members. You can create them or import them via Excel for new members, of course, because you will find your existing members there already, since we will migrate the data from your current platform. These members will be classified into groups, and you can create groups yourself according to your needs and preferences. You will therefore have fairly basic groups, if I may say so, classifying members according to the sport they play or the age categories, for example, but you can also create more specific groups. You can have a group for volunteers, members who attended a dinner organized by the club, and so on. You can also filter your member list, for example, to only show people who had a membership last year but no longer do. You can also filter by age, gender. You have many possibilities. We also have a tool that allows your payments and cash flow. In this tool, you can set up certain payments. These can be recurring payments, such as memberships, or one-time payments, such as event registrations, or other items. You can configure these payments, set a price, and then link them to your member groups, events, in the calendar, subscriptions, online store, etc. You have a single place where all financial flows are tracked. You can automatically send invoices, payment reminders for unpaid invoices, etc. And when you send invoices, people can also pay your club directly by credit card or direct debit. This makes it easier and faster for you to collect money, and you don't have to manually check who has paid and who hasn't. Everything is automated, including reminders for unpaid invoices. But note that to benefit from this, you will need to create a Stripe account, but we will tell you how to do so in due time. As you can see here, you even have an overview of your income and expenses in real time in the billing tool. You can also track your athletes' medical data and see who has undergone a medical examination and what were the results. It's very easy to keep track of who still needs to see a doctor in the coming month, or who isn't fit to play, etc. You can also manage all your games, game sheets, players, and athlete statistics, etc. via Clubee. What's interesting is that all of this is connected to your calendar, your invitations, notifications to your community, and much more. You can create digital game sheets, offer live scores for your matches, send your results via push notification, and even use a digital signature system. In just a few clicks, you will also be able to order licenses for your members from the federation. If the license in question are subject to a fee, an invoice will be sent to you automatically. And finally, you can manage your facilities and indicate the times and days they are available, so you can easily plan your training sessions, games, competitions, and other events. Let's now move on to the communication section. It's difficult to have engaged fans and members, or even engaged sponsors, if your communication is not perfectly harmonized, regular, and well orchestrated. That's why we help you communicate. This is done in particular through the website creation tool, which is very intuitive and easy to use, manage, and update. You don't need a webmaster to manage it for you. As you can see, it's also adapted for smartphones and tablets. And what's really interesting, besides its simplicity and ease of use, is that this website is not like a normal website, but is connected to all your other tools. For example, with just a few clicks, you can share an event you have created. On the website, you can share the season's match schedule or write an article with a link inviting members to pay their licenses. You can also share your news directly on Facebook. You can also upload your photos and videos yourself to the platform, and therefore to your website. And as I said, news, galleries, and video will be automatically published on your social media if you wish. This means you no longer need to manage your Facebook and your website separately. People who see the post on Facebook will be redirected to the website, which will increase the traffic that can benefit to your sponsors. You can also create your online store to sell your items with ease. And you can send newsletters full of content, as this tool actually pulls all the information from your platform, such as the events calendar, the latest news, the list of sponsors, etc. So you can generate your newsletter more quickly. You can send these newsletters to all your members or to a specific category of members that you can define in advance using the member management tool. As I said, we also have launched a mobile app that will allow you to communicate directly with your members via the app and send them push notifications. For example, when you post updates, send invitations, invoices, or other messages, your entire community with the app will receive the information on their phone within seconds. Of course, if they have authorized the application to send them push notification. Let's now move on to the planning section. Here you will, of course, find the calendar, which allows you to manage all events within your organization, and the calendar with clear, real-time overview of everything that is happening, from training sessions to games and competitions, board meetings, other club events, and much more. You can use the calendar to create as many events as you want, regardless of the type. And when it's an event, you can, of course, attach documents, images, etc. But you can also define who can see it, because your calendar is connected to your database. For example, a board meeting can only be viewed by members of your board group if you want, and so on. You can also send invitations, for example, invite each player by email and/or push notification to each training session, after which they must inform the coach in advance via the app if they will attend or not the training session. The coach can then also track attendance rates and more. But invitations can also be used, for example, to invite sponsors to your games, or to invite your members to a big event, an important game, or anything else. And here is, on this slide, the attendance tracking tool I just mentioned. As you can see, a summary of attendance will be available on your platform, which can be particularly useful for coaches, as I mentioned a few seconds ago. Finally, the third part of this section relates to registrations. Using this tool, which is actually called forms on the platform, you can create as many forms as you want. For example, a simple contact form for your website, or an event registration form, which allows people to purchase a ticket or pay a participation fee. They can also be added to a specific group in your database that only includes participants in a certain event, allowing you to send highly targeted communications for an event, manage participant lists, etc. You can also, for example, connect a form to your website that allows people to sign up to become members of your club. If they want to become members, all they have to do is go to your website, sign up, and they are immediately entered into your database. No need to fill out paperwork or anything else. You can even ask them to pay their first membership fee during the online registration process. These forms are really extremely flexible and useful, and they can be connected to your website, your user database, payments, events, and much more, allowing you to automate a lot of processes and save a lot of time. Finally, we have the section dedicated to sponsors. So this is a tool that really helps you build a better relationship with your sponsors. As you probably know, what's important in your sponsorship strategy is that your sponsors feel truly integrated and that they feel like they are an integral part of the club. Why is this important? If they have an emotional connection to the club, they are more likely to invest more money and less likely to leave. In our tool, you can simply add all your sponsors and even create certain categories of sponsors. You can then therefore display them on your website, in your email communications, etc. The platform also asks you to add the people behind each sponsor, such as the marketing department, the company owners, or anyone else. And the idea behind this is to have as many people as possible from that company within your list. So they will be added to your user database in a special group called sponsors. You can then actively work with this group. And for example, when you send out newsletters, send them to sponsors as well. Clubee will also offer to send personalized invitation to each sponsor representative for every major event or game. We also have a sponsorship network tool in which Clubee automatically searches for sponsors who might be interested in sponsoring your club. So I've briefly outlined all the tools that are currently integrated into our platform, but keep in mind that we regularly add new tools and features to the platform. The system is evolving very quickly so that you can progress as an organization every month. Every month we improve, and that means you improve. Of course, you only use the tools you feel comfortable with. We don't force you to use all the tools, all the features, but the more you use, the more time you will save. And because they are connected and interact with each other. For example, your user database is connected to your payments to your forms, and your website is connected to your sponsors, but your sponsors are also connected to your user database, and so on. The more things you use, the more Clubee can automate for you, and the more time you save. And as if all that weren't enough, the platform comes with a unique personal assistant, the Clubee assistant, who will work for you and carry out the tasks you assign them. For example, they will ask you questions such as, would you like me to invite your sponsors to this weekend's match or competition? I've created some graphics for you. Would you like me to post them on your Facebook account? Would you like me to send payment reminders for unpaid invoices? And so on. In fact, today, there are more than 50 tasks that your assistant can do for you, saving you precious times. Here you can see an example of one of those 50 tasks that can be used by the Clubee assistant. And here is a demo of the tool. Also, some general facts about Clubee to remind you. Clubee is GDPR compliant. Clubee is available in 7 languages, notably Dutch, French, and English, which are the most important ones for Belgium, as well as German. It's a cooperative platform within your organization, so every administrator has his own and specific and limited rights. There are weekly updates with new functionalities and corrections, and new technological standards and safety certificates regularly. So, as a final word, I will say that Clubee is a club strong partner, and I wish you enjoyed the video. It allowed you to discover what is Clubee, and I thank you for listening and look forward to see you when we will onboard the Belgian Handball Federation. Thank you and bye-bye.